So let's talk about theme in the storyteller. So theme is the moral of the story. It's the lesson that's being learned. And theme is not written in the story. You have to use your head and you have to use text evidence and you have to use inferencing to figure it out. Now, some things are in there that you can use, then that's called explicit text evidence if it's something that you can actually read in there. Such as, let's take a look at some characters. Okay, so it's telling us there's a small girl, a smaller girl, an aunt. So we know a little bit about characters and the bachelors there. Now, setting, hot afternoon. It's in a railway carriage. They were sitting in one corner, and on the other corner, on the opposite side, was the bachelor. So these are all text evidence we're going to use to sort of form an idea about what's going on. So this is not just about the characters and the stories. So we've got to have a look at what's going on in there. So we look at the underlying text. It was a hot afternoon, and the railway carriage was correspondingly sultry. That means hot and sweaty. The further corner on the opposite side was occupied by a bachelor who was a stranger to their party. So that sets the story. That gives you a visual idea of who the characters are and where they're sitting and what it feels like and where they are. So we've got that to set the tone so far. Ooh, come on, that's pushing. Okay, there we go. So what's the message? We're looking for key details to figure out what's going on in this story and what is being learned. Although the theme isn't important, it's not stated outright. You have to figure it out based on evidence. Okay, so we have to read the story and we have to consider the whole thing and just try to figure out what sort of message does the author convey? Do they want to tell through the story? Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so there's two stories. Remember, there's the aunt story and there's the bachelor story, and then there's the overall story. So let's look. So what key details and events should the reader consider to determine the theme of the aunt story? Remember the aunt story about the good girl? It was the little girl. Her main quality is very, very good. And how that quality affects her experience, it leads others to save her from danger. Now, how about the key details and events from the Bachelor story? The little girl, remember her main quality, she's horribly good. Not just good, horribly good. That gives you a little detail about what's going on there and how that quality affects her experience. It actually leads to her death, right? That she gets eaten by that wolf. Now, what key details and events should be considered to determine the overall story theme? Okay, remember there's the characters, the bachelors, the aunts, the kids, and the qualities of each. The aunt is trying to keep the kids quiet. The kids just want to be entertained. The bachelor just wants them to be quiet. And how each of them react to the two stories that are told. So let's think of what can be drawn. So the children are bored by the moral and dull story of the aunt, right? Oh my God, that was so dull. Now there's also a theme could be that goodness is always rewarded. That would be the theme of the aunt story, right? But the theme of the bachelor story was goodness is not always rewarded. So those are themes that are within that story. So, and theme is developed throughout the course of the story. Okay, there could be motivations of characters that help to develop a theme. Remember, let's see, the aunt views storytelling as a tool for educating kids, right? She's trying to teach them to be good. Look at this good little girl. She was so good that everybody tried to protect her. So she's got years. Remember, she told the bachelor, you have undermined the effects of years of careful teaching. But the bachelor's point of view was, He wanted to entertain those kids so that they would just be quiet and keep bothering him, right? I kept them quiet for 10 minutes, which was more than you were able to, says the bachelor. And the kids loved the story because they were entertained rather than being taught a lesson. So read the story's final paragraph and then select the theme clue to see the part of the passage that definitively supports and conveys the message. Okay? Usually it's not clear until the end. So, unhappy woman, he observed to himself as he walked down the platform of the Templecombe station. For the next 6 months or so, those children will assail her in public with demands for an improper story. So, what's the theme here? So the children's reaction to the two stories supported that the bachelor's story was the one they wanted to hear. He's predicting that the kids are gonna for the next 6 months are gonna ask her for fun stories, not teaching sort of stories. And this points to one of the overall themes that we talked about before, that children are bored with stories that are moral and dull. They want to be entertained. So, as we see, there can be more than one theme inside a story, and we just need to find text evidence to support that when we're doing any sort of writing about theme or talking about theme.